Well, good morning again from the voices of the foothills. We have a voice here today that I've been trying for months to corner for a little talk through about the many good things he's doing here for Polk Countyans and the surrounding area. Many of you have met him, and if you haven't, you're going to meet him this morning. I have a cup of coffee sitting here at the table with BobLane. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Good morning.
I told you that we were going to sit here and just talk on. We've already done a whole program before we ever started recording it. But where are your roots? Where were you brought up? Are you a Southerner?
I am a Southerner. I was born in Atlanta. I grew up in Charlotte and have lived in Charleston for 48 years.
Have you always been involved in the things you're doing now? Real estate?
Yeah, I have been in real estate and done development and construction and brokerage and all my life.
How did you end up here in little old Polk County?
In 1981, I sold a realty business, and I got some money, and it took me 5 years to get it, really. And in 86, we went looking for a mountain house, so that money just wouldn't disappear. So we wanted to take that money and buy a mountain house, and we rode all around for a number of weeks, stayed in a number of bed and breakfasts here in Tryon, fell in love with Tryon, and then fell in love with a house up on Overlook Circle. Stayed there 20 years, sold it to my brother, and moved 4 or 5 houses away.
So what attracted you here? I mean, you found a house and so forth, and you looked around. What did you see that made you want to live here?
Well, it looked very civilized. We wanted something in the mountains, which was a change from the coast, and we liked the fact that they had a lot of arts here, and like the Tryon Fine Arts Center, and they also had a movie theater, and it just seemed more stable in a lot of places that we rode around looking at, and so we just loved it and still do.
Well, you certainly have shown that with the things you've done here. I ask people who have moved here from other places, why here? Because Tryon's 2,000 people. The county is what is the population here now?
I think it's about 1,700 in the town, I've heard. But one of the main attractions to us, and we're responsible for 3 other couples that have moved to Tryon, and a couple now that have homes up in Boone that are thinking about selling and moving to Tryon because it's about a 3.5 or 4 hour drive from Charleston. So it's easy to get here, and it's all interstate, and so that's very attractive. And it's the first mountains you get to. So they've thanked us for moving in. In fact, I sent them 2 of them a subscription to the Bulletin, a 30-day subscription, and they got a taste and a feel for Tryon and came back up here and looked.
Well, you'll have to tell them about the website for the Daily Bulletin, because they will be hearing you on that. And they've even had requests from Europe for copies of the world's smallest daily newspaper from Europe.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah. So you looked around, and then what was the first thing you decided you wanted to do for the town?
Well, we were here since 1986, and we didn't do anything for the town.
You were promoting it.
Well, I was promoting it, you're right. We were enjoying it, and most of that 20 years we would come up once a month or so and spend long weekends, or maybe a week, 10 days I think at the most. And then as we started slowing down a little bit, and since we bought their other house, we bought Jim Tabb, the Barbecue King's house there in Gillette Woods, and so we love it there, and we've stay up here about 2 weeks and go back to Charleston about 2 weeks and come back for 2 weeks. So we're splitting it about 50-50 year-round.
Okay.
Best of both worlds. And we would move here probably permanently, except we've got a lot of family in Charleston, and we've got nearly 50 years of some real close friends that are there. So we can't divorce ourselves.
You don't want to divorce yourself from old friends because you never replace them, do you?
That's exactly right.
What was the first project you looked at and thought, I would like to see this done or that done? What was your first one?
Well, the house that we bought was built in 1860, and it was moved there in Gillette Woods on Overlook Circle from Dark Corner. So we did a lot of tweaking and massaging it for those 20 years. So that was a project.
Wasn't that something to move? That's all uphill from Dark Corner, isn't it?
It is uphill, but it was moved in the 40s, log by log. It's a big 2-story log house, and it was moved log by log and stone by stone. So they did a great job, and we played with it. But the first thing that I saw was what turned out to be Sunnydale. I didn't know it was Sunnydale. I just remembered it as being a restaurant, and I remembered it as being a Mexican restaurant that closed, and it had sat there vacant for a couple of years, and the logs were rotting, and they built the Dollar General next door, and I just didn't want to see it rot away, and I just thought it was a great building, and I told my wife that I've got to restore that building, and she, of course, lists a number of reasons why I shouldn't do that, because I hadn't done anything like that.
Well, we always have to have someone be a devil's advocate for anything, don't we?
Right, and when I finally told her that, Jackie, I've just got to do this, there's a higher power telling me to do this, and I don't know what will become of it, but we're going to do it. And so we set out restoring it, having no idea what we were going to do. And people would come up and they would say, thanks for saving Sunnydale. And I had never heard the name Sunnydale. And then they would tell me about their wedding reception there, the New Year's Eve parties they would go to, and dancing with the troops that were brought up on the troop trains from the bases during World War II, and it would choke me up. It almost does now. And so I finished it and did some research, found out that it started out pretty much as a little community building that a man had built for his daughter in the neighborhood to use. And then it became a restaurant. But it had so many memories that I thought about selling it. And, of course, I had a lot more in it than it was worth. And then I thought about renting it. And I had some people wanted to rent it for things that I didn't think would be too good.
You didn't want to be a landlord.
No, I didn't want to be a landlord. And so I talked to Elizabeth. My friend Earl Thompson says, well, you need to talk to Elizabeth Nager at the Community Foundation. So I talked to her about how we would like to do something, and maybe that building could be part of it. And so she suggested trying a little theater. And so we worked with them, and they've been wonderful, and the community is able to use it again. So we donated it to them.
It was kind of, as I understand, kind of a hub of social life. I have older people tell me that, they remember the dances. I mean, that hasn't been too many years ago that it was actually used. But now to see it restored like it has been, and I know I've talked to one of the gals at the little theater, which is another active part of our community. Oh, yeah. They are thrilled to death with this. But it's just... You've added such a plus to the community, Mr. Lane. I don't know whether, you said Bob. It's right. Bob. Everyone calls you Bob, but right. Me. I've been brought up, everyone's Mr., and I'm so old now I feel like I can use first names. But anyway, this was quite a project. That was your first thing. But I've very much been interested in the next one you undertook, and that was the old headquarters for our St. Luke's a volunteer auxiliary. Right. And that's it used to be, I think, a filling station?
It was originally a filling station, a little flat filling station that I think a little stucco filling station. I've only got one picture, and that was when they had a fire next door, and you're looking at it from the side, just seeing the smoke and the firemen working. But that's the only picture I have of it.
A picture by accident.
It was a picture by accident. And after that, I remember years ago there was a men's clothing store in there, and I bought clothes there. And then it was a thrift shop, or maybe something in between. But I really wasn't looking for another project, but my good friend Chris Armbruster kept telling me about the town wanting to build a plaza there and have a gathering place. And he showed me all these plans that they had with a depot and coming across in the plaza there. And so I ended up buying it, worked with Ken Scholl and their board. And
who did the plans for the building for you?
Dean Trackus.
Oh.
And Holland worked with Dean on that, but it was mostly Dean, and he did a great job.
Oh.
Been real enthusiastic, and he already had the plans for the plaza anyway. And they knew that building probably was best suited for some owner-occupant, and somebody that would buy it to occupy it would have wanted to keep the parking spaces out front. And they wouldn't have a plaza if they had parking spaces out front. So it's not totally altruistic, because I think eventually it'll be a good investment having the business is right there in the middle of the hub of things. Mm-hmm.
Right down the street from the place where they settle all the troubles that take place are solved at the coffee shop right there in the middle of the block.
That's right. That's right. It's a good coffee shop.
Yeah. Well, as of this recording that we're doing, it is near completion, and maybe by the time this is on the website, maybe it will be open, because it's pretty close to completion. And I loved the little extra added out front around the little park area that Bill Crowell did, the ironwork.
Yes, that between the ironwork and the building will be a pergola, and it'll be open to the public, but the lady that's opening the restaurant in there is going to have a gelato shop right there and be serving gelato and all out the side door.
Is that Italian?
It is like an Italian ice cream.
Yeah. With my Pellegrino name, that attracts me.
It should, and it'll be good. And then they'll have a water feature out front. So I've given the town an easement from the front of my building to the curb. And so that's what they got a grant to do. And they're going to continue the concrete and the brick that we're building in the back out to the street. And then they'll put some benches and some tables out there and a water feature. And then some stairs that'll turn around and go down Maple Street. So it'll be nice. I was there New Year's Eve when they dropped the ball down from the clock tower at 10 o'clock.
Well, we don't wait till midnight here. We all go to bed at 10 o'clock.
And it was so much fun doing it. They dropped it a second time, but all that was going on out in the street. And so I can imagine this New Year's that they'll have the plaza up there by the depot and there at the St. Luke's Plaza.
Well, it's going to be the gem of downtown. It's going to be, like you say, the hub. And, of course, with the monthly strolls we have, I know the thrift shop being right downtown, we are open one night a month, I think it is, most of the year round for the strolls. You know, I've never seen a place so arty as this little place is in my life. Have you?
No, I haven't. And like I said earlier, that was one of our main attractions. And you're right, as we talked earlier, there are a lot of talented people here.
Oh, well, just from all, and I say we're a dot on the map, but we're the crossroads of the world, because we've attracted people like BobLane here, who is still contributing, and you'll probably never know what you've done to beautify and to glorify this little town. It's just, I call it a little Cincinnati, because we have the arts. We have the theater, live theater, as well as the old-fashioned theater downtown. Mm-hmm. We have a mixture of all kinds of backgrounds, and as a result, there's something here that you don't get a lot of places unless you go to a big city. And yet we're within distance. If we want to go to Europe, we're just a short distance from an airplane that's going to take us there.
That's right.
Without all the traffic.
You have 3 airports.
Yeah,
That's right.
right. So maybe we can, after this is all open, and you have another project in mind without divulging what it is?
Not really.
No. Oh, well, now we got to keep you busy, Mr. Lane. I have one for you, the big bank building downtown that has been sitting there empty for several years. Have you, we won't go into detail on this, but just, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but have you ever looked at that building with an eye to, why isn't something done with this?
I have looked at that building, and it's a big project. And at my stage in life, I just like to have little piddly jobs.
Well, this wasn't a piddly job you got, because I think there are 3 stores in the building you've just redone.
Well, there are 3 spaces, but the restaurant, there'll be a restaurant, a wine bar, and a gelato shop, and they'll be in 2 of them. And then the terra on trade, the bicycle and apparel shop, they're moving down into the other one. And that was one thing that Dean and Chris and all wanted to attract the bikers, and had talked with John Cash down there too.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to put a water fountain out front, so the bikers maybe can stop in that area and drink water and sit around and maybe buy some ice cream, or maybe buy some stuff from the bike shops. So.
And on down the shop, the thrift store, we have a lot of outdoor equipment down there. In fact, we had a bicycle there recently, a collector's bicycle, like
really?
brand. Oh yes, it sold right away. But we're trying to raise all the money we can for our good hospital here, and so we can keep on growing and giving people the kind of medical care they need. And our hospital is small, but yet we're small enough. If there's a problem, the clock is telling me. Can you hear our clock?
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And telling us that it's about time for us to sign off here. But could we maybe sit down over another cup of coffee sometime and find out what your next project, because you're not going to stop doing this.
Probably not.
Well, with the attitude you have and that nice smile, I want to thank you very much for letting us talk to you for these few minutes and let people know just what kind of residents we have here. People retire here, but the word retirement doesn't hold up here because people still contribute. And not only of your ideas and your time, your money, you've made a big investment here in our little town of Tryon, and I'm sure the residents, you may never know to what extent you're appreciated.
Well, I thank you.
We'll have a BobLane day someday, okay? But anyway, thank you so very much, and I wish you good luck, good health, and I have a couple projects. Well, after we're through here, I'll have to talk to you about.
We can do that.
Okay,
right.
Thank you so much. And until the next time when you tune in to Voices of the Foothills, this is Deanie Pellegrin in the old chatterbox saying, come visit us here in Tryon. We're the friendliest town in the South, and we hope all of you have a great day. Thank you.